So, Mr. Sito, tell us about a little bit about your life story. I mean, how do you come about to become a food critic you are today? You know, you established a brand which no one has ever really thought of at that period, and even today. And Americans are also very curious why Makan Sutra. You know.
You know, when the late Johnny Apple of the New York Times, was kind of like presenting me at the Culinary Institute of America some years back as a guest speaker. He said something which I didn't think of. He said he spoke a little bit about Makan Sutra, about what we do. We have interest in food guides. We operate food courts. We do food safaris and food tours. We do consultancy. We do a host of everything except sell food. And we celebrate flavors. We celebrate food culture. And he said America doesn't even have a company like that. I thought about it. Hey, I guess that makes it pretty special coming from Johnny Apple. But over these years, I begin to ground a little bit more as to what we're doing at Makan Sutra. You see, I began as a photojournalist many years ago, and basically, what do? Take pictures and tell stories. And I thought over the after spending many years as a professional photographer, I said, the greatest topic, friendliest to my heart, was about people, culture, and food. If you lump them all together, it's actually food culture. You tell people and cultures through food. Yes, we ink food guides, and they're really about, in simplistic terms, a food guide is really about good and bad. But beyond that, it helps us tell a story about people, what they do, who they are, why do they, how did the Hainanese come up with chicken rice, and how come there's so many different versions of Hokkien mee coming in from Fujian? You got Malaysian, you got Singapore version. So all this tells me it's a way of, it's a permanent holiday, if you must. I explore the world through flavors. So today we are moving on. We're doing so many things: television, we're doing events, more food courts, and to tell you frankly, I've only just begun. Although Makan Sutra is a 14-year-old company.
So, back to my question, how is your growing up years like? Before Makan Sutra exists, did Makan Sutra exist because of your experience growing up in Singapore in your younger days?
First and foremost, I'm not highly educated. I have no degrees. I learned my stuff from the street, from people, and I was very fortunate. I guess I have an entrepreneurial late father. Thinks of ideas and gets things done. And I have a neighbor, Uncle Hua. I think he's in his 80s now. He was a Hainanese, and he was the first pioneering batch of professional photographers practicing in Singapore way back in the 60s and the 70s. He was the people, when you came to doing documentaries for BBC, the Australian Broadcasting Company, etc., etc. And I was playing assistant to what he does, and it was very inspiring. What he did was very, very captivating. He said, I really want to be a passionate man like him. I quote you one incident. He was, those days, long before the age of digital, he was shooting wedding with this Baloo camera. And it was one of those quick moments where he had to switch from shooting something from the outdoor daylight into indoor, where we were flooding the room with tungsten light. That means you have to switch to an 80A or 80B filter to correct color balance on a daylight film. Sounds complicated, but that was how photography was done way back when. And in his speed and in his haste to run from the car into the house just to shoot the couple coming in, he forgot his filter. And and he only realized it after that moment. He pulled himself to the corner of the room, and this is an adult. He was in his 40s, I suppose, and he slapped himself in his face. How stupid! He slapped his face and he slapped his hands. How stupid can you guys be? And that moment caught me. He says, and what I learned from that moment was that if you want to do something, if something is worth doing right, even Steve Tyler said, it's worth overdoing. It's worth being a perfectionist. If you want to do something right, if you're not out to make it perfect, forget it. So always keep setting the standard higher and higher and higher, and reinvent everything that you know or you see. Because if you don't, this world, that means there will be no internet. So I guess with that passion, I started this. I said food in Singapore is something everybody celebrates, and it's true what Tony Bourdain said. Everybody in Singapore is a food critic. That lady that sweeps the floor, she'll tell you, she'll argue with you where the best chicken rice is. And if you and in a nation like this, we're full of iconic, unique street food flavors, but it wasn't celebrated. And I said, hey, why don't I start something? I think it's a great story to tell. So in 1997, 98, I inked the first Makan Sutra food guide. After your initial criticisms by, people who found it strange, the public just lapped it up, bought every of my book. It was sold out, and we were just rocketing into, Makan Sutra became a rock company, and later on we went into, websites, the usual stuff, and we did our television shows. We started inking food guides in the region. We started operating food gods, and we began to find our footing. But in short, we're storytellers.
So, at what age that you have come across in your life that has impacted you? To that being a food critic is something that you want to do.
You don't, I didn't set out to this journey to be a food critic, a food anthropologist, or a consultant, etc., etc. You do what you like with a topic, a philosophy, a theme called food, and you just take your chances and opportunities as you go every day, and down the road, whatever people call you, it doesn't matter. So as long as you're enjoying what you do, you're doing it properly, you're doing it correctly, you're not killing, you're not harming, you're not bombing people, you're not poisoning their minds, there can be no wrong.
Who was your main inspiration in your journey? Apart from your uncle himself, were there people along your life that actually inspired you?
I got no real heroes in my life. I take a leaf of inspiration from here and there. Sometimes idioms and quotes get me going. Sometimes I read how our current minister mentor Lee Kuan Yew started, what he built, which is Singapore in its heydays. It's very, very inspiring. Then you get a story you come across street food legends, street food masters or chefs or cooks or ordinary people who tells you extraordinary stories about their life. So you add them all up, you realize that, wow, it is so fascinating, life is so interesting, it's really worth living and doing everything to the max. No bargain, no discount, full price.
And while you were on your journey, creating this wonderful program, Makan Sutra, did you met your wife before or after?
My program and my wife.
Yes. How did you get to know your wife?
I knew my wife way before Makan Sutra.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit of that part?
You party in your younger days, standard story, you come across a nice chick, you date her, and then things work out, and you get married, and then next thing, you find that, hey, she's a great person, wonderful wife, gives me energy to do new stuff. So I started Makan Sutra with her, and of course I led the show. She was always just beside or behind me, making sure that nothing falls through the cracks in whatever we do. And today, yeah, she's still around, and I'm very happy.
Because a lot of people are not aware that your wife was and is right now the pillar of Makan Sutra with you. Has at any one time does she feel that that she finds challenging in just following you in this journey, because it can be very tiring and strenuous? Were there many challenges where you have quarreled and argued about why Makan Sutra exists?
Name me a couple that doesn't quarrel, and I tell you by now they're divorced. That's true. Think about that one. If you can't take skirmishes in your marriage, in your married life, and your relationship isn't very flexible. I wouldn't say she's a pillar of Makan Sutra. She's my pillar. She's a great wife. She makes sure that the husband is okay. She's like a bounce pad for me, and she knows that in the end what we do is about the company and my ideas. So she does take care of the executional aspects of whatever we do here in Makan Sutra.
And do you have any regrets looking back after this so long, for 14 years now, and you are I think you are as old as or close to the World Gourmet Summit?
About that. The World Gourmet Summit in Singapore started around when we started. We're different. We're not an event company. So what's your question again besides that?
Well, how does it feel like you're coming so far, for over more than 14 years, I suppose?
Oh, any regrets?
Yeah.
I'll share a Buddhist philosophy with you. You never know what you do in life is right or wrong until the angel of death knocks on your door. You've got that 5 minutes to reflect, then you will know. Wow, you will know if you're gonna go happy or you're gonna go sad. So if you ask me, how's this journey? What's the answer to existence about this journey of mine? I'll never know. But all I know is that I immensely enjoy what I do, and it is something that I can connect to people in life with. It does make people happy, some people at least, and I think I may not die with much regrets.
Tell me, what was your best memorable experience when you first started at Makan Sutra? Were you? Because I've heard some stories from people saying that you were even asked to leave the restaurant. Is that true?
When I was doing our show, we have this show. Nobody really asked me to leave the restaurants. Sometimes when I started my food guide, some people ask not to be listed because one, they can't handle the crowd that the publicity brings, and two, they can't handle the fact that they aren't as great as they think they are, or we don't think that they are as great as they think they are. And in one of our shows, our Makan Sutra Raw series, which I'll be returning with a second season of, it's been quite a few years. The whole premise, the whole concept of the show is to walk into eateries and restaurants without permission. Just knock on the door and ask them right there and then and tell the story, eat a meal, and reveal the place, the flavors, the people as it is on the spot, like any regular walk-in customer. So some restaurants do come. Oh no, no permission, no, go. But that's part of the job. It's so fun to see how people react to somebody having a meal with a camera on. So it's about crisis management sometimes.
Okay. So what's next for you, for Makan Sutra? I mean, after 14 years.
More food guides in the region. A long list of a list of television shows that we're going to produce on our own, not just to feature myself, but stars, people, stories, and concepts and philosophies about food that we want to tell on screen. Look out for that. They'll be coming soon. And we're looking to do another food event. Look out for that. I can't reveal that. I can't reveal much at this juncture, but you know, when I put them together, it took me quite a while to put this together. It was an epiphany when I met somebody. That person revealed to me, why aren't I doing that already? And I said, hey, my goodness, you know, like, what is stupid, why don't I do that? So it took me a few months to string this whole idea together, and I'm going to roll it out with a blast next year. Stay tuned, don't go away.
So any plans for the United States? I mean, you have been coming to the United States for a while.
Yes, I've said it and I'll say it again. I want to do a Makan Sutra guide in America, rating Asian food. There are a lot of losers out there. You guys got to know that orange chicken and Moo Gai Ban are strange stuff from planet Ulu. I don't know what the hell these things are. You guys deserve to know and have the best. You guys deserve to enjoy the kind of food the way we enjoy and love our kind of food. So look out for that.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sido. We will see you very shortly.
Thank you.